So what I'm going to show you today is an example of a survey data. So for example, if a survey was conducted and then when the survey comes back, you would then receive data mainly. So it depends how your data output is. So as you can see here, we've got from column A to column H. So this is your table that then consists of 50 respondents. So this is an example of how a survey data, even when you maybe as a customer fills in a survey, it would then come back in this format where maybe you are respondent. So this would be the respondent ID, where you would be respondent 1, and this would be the age of this respondent. So you would fill in. So on the other side, when you are filling in the questionnaire, this then gets captured here. So for example, if it's an online, or like, let's say using a tablet or software to collect data, it will come back as, but then in the background it's programmed to say, so this would be like a frequency, and these ones will then be programmed to say, give me a scale of 1 to 5. Also, these ones will be rating scales of 1 to 5. So when a customer is asked about anything to rate, they would then rate based off the 5-point scale. And this respondent is also male. For frequency of app usage, so an example here, I'm just making an example of an app. This is the data or survey data for an app. So whereby, let's say, as a company that owns an app, you then send to your customers to rate. So the first question would be, maybe within your survey, would be what is your frequency of usage per week of this app? And then each customer will then or user will then state what's their frequency per week. And also you would then ask, what's your overall satisfaction? So satisfaction would, how satisfied are you with the app overall? And you would then also give a 5-point scale. As so this respondent number 10 rated a 3. So a 3 would be like midpoint. So if you have 1 to 5, it would be like neutral, and 4 and 5 would then be maybe 4 and 5 could be very satisfied, and satisfied it would be 4. And then you use these. So just for this instance, but you could change these numbers into actual words. So let's say in your questionnaire, you had said maybe rating number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for satisfaction, or all these ratings, you would say, let's say, okay, this would be 2, not satisfied. Very not satisfied. Here you would say neutral. Then here, that is, and then very satisfied would be 5. So it's either, if you want to make it easier for yourself, you could then convert all of these numbers. So not here on frequency, because this is a number. So here for satisfaction, because this is a satisfaction question as well. Also ease of use, the satisfaction question. Also customer support. So all of these are actually showing as a rating scale. So you can either I would say maybe, okay, you can't really if you do it manually, you could then apply your filters and say, but you'll have to do it one by one and say, if everything is a 1, or you can find and replace it. There's different techniques of how you can convert your numbers into this, or you could just go on and do your analysis, but then keeping in mind what these are, so whenever you are reporting, you can then reference it back. So, or maybe the time where you analyze your data. So after this, you'll then have to analyze your data. So just as an example here, we would have a question maybe for demographic analysis. So you first have to look at your questions. What are your questions related to, so that you can know how can you analyze your data. Remember when we had first started analyzing your data, it's like you have to change this into a summary. So whether in a pivot table, or I mean the best would be a pivot table, or you could do it manually, depends. But I would suggest, because we've done a pivot table as well in the past. So basically the final assignment is using all the skills that you've done throughout. I think it was a tutorial or part of an assignment as well. So let's maybe just have a look at the first 2 questions just to see. So the first one says, what is the average age of the respondents? Then the other one is, what is the gender distribution among respondents? So average age. So over here, you would definitely need to see what the age is. So you would say Control A, or you can go and say, you can highlight and insert a pivot table. Then you can say new worksheet. Then you can name it if you want. You could actually, if you wanted, you could copy your pivot table. Let's say if you wanted to have each question with a different pivot table, but whatever works for you, because this has to then, in essence, be part of. So all these questions have to then be part of your presentation. So within your presentation, you would have to address. So it would be a chart for each. So let's say for the average age one, it would go on our pivot and just say, so it's looking at overall what we want to see, average age. Let's take that out. And then instead of summing it, we want to average it out. So we can say, you can leave it as that if you want. And obviously just to round it off, so this would be your average age. So within, let's say if you want to have a chart, you could. So within your presentation, whatever presentation you'll be doing, you could then maybe transfer that into a picture or a table. So just part of your own reporting, just as an example. And then it's always, guys, important to have kind of insights within your presentations. So you would say the average age of users is 30 years old. Or you could put it wherever, but just to call it out. So you always have to call out whether, let's say, if you're going to have multiple charts within one page, you could then say, but call it out just to say the average age, or you could have it as the whole part of the whole chart, and then you're going to have another slide that then speaks to the next question, which is what is the distribution. So it's also good to also include the question. So I just want to do this. So within survey, so for someone who doesn't know, you could say here question. So the first one we will say, what is the average age? So here we're just showing, we could even make it small. And here is the main highlight of kind of like what's happening in the slide. So that's the call out. So if I'm also interested, I'm just going to have a look what the question was, and then you can just transfer this to your different slides. So here it would say, what is the gender distribution amongst your respondents? So the distribution would be out of 100. So distribution is always having a look at what is the slice or pie of. So also these words are important. So this would be an assignment. So depending on your questions, you then have to go research or find out what does distribution mean. So here we can just so we can go back to our data, just have to see. So the question is, what is the gender distribution? So the gender distribution, so we could even here already, you can copy this pivot, paste it here. So now it becomes 2 pivots in one sheet. Then we want to look at gender, we untick age, pull in gender, okay, and distribution. So we can see this is not a distribution but count. So now we want to see the distribution. So for distribution, you need to know the percentage. So distribution is a percentage. So I'm going to say show as and say calculate column total. So you can see it's 50-50 out of all the respondents. So now you can either have it as a table, or if you like, you could then also insert a chart, which is nice. So you can say, so this would actually just also speak to this. If you want, you can duplicate the sheet like for neatness or whatever you want. So here, this is a pivot, it's a pivot chart. You could hide these and say hide all field buttons. So it's going to hide all these buttons. And here you can say gender distribution. They make it look neat. So you have 2 options. You can either create a new chart within, so you can also say insert. So this is another way. You can come to PowerPoint straight and say insert chart and say pie chart. If you don't want to deal with the chart that belongs to the pivot. So from here you can say okay, but now you will then have to transfer your data from your Excel. So I'm showing you 2 ways. You can finish this here. So they show data labels, always good to show data labels. Do that so you can see. So the same thing here. We can take this and say female and male. Come here, just paste it in, delete these, put it up, and gender distribution 50-50, same result. Depends what you like. So I'm now gonna work straight on PowerPoint because I've taken my data into PowerPoint. Or you could have, let me just do another one, just duplicate. Or you could have just done it here on Excel, copy, paste it on here. But now you can't change your data because it's a picture. If you take it from here, or it will link to the other, so you can paste it as a picture. So, and then you can just drag it up if you know that okay, you're done. Or you could do it this way, where you have your data in here, so that you can always change if you want within PowerPoint. Just an example of the 2 different ways. And here as well, we can say show data labels. And we want to bold everything. So if you like to use PowerPoint and like to design here, it'll be better. Just transfer the data. It can't be 40, 50. Let's say 60, an example. And then here, we come back to this. So what is this chart telling us? So that's the important thing. This highlight says, what is this chart telling us? So this chart has to answer what has been asked. So it'll say, you can either say majority of respondents are female, accounting for 60%, followed by males at 40%. Okay. So that'll be your next one, and then you can repeat that for, let's see the next question. So this would be related to usage patterns. So what is the average frequency of app usage per week amongst respondents? So here the keyword is average frequency. So we saw in our data, so you can always reference your data. So this is the frequency of usage of app frequency of app usage per week. So the respondents stated what the frequency was, but now we want to see the average across all respondents. What's the frequency? So we could even still use the same worksheet, but just go down here. So for neatness, you could even compart your highlight here. You can compart your different sections. Say, okay, you're comparting. If you want to use the same, so this will be more like your working area. And then on the side you also have your PowerPoint where you transfer where you see, guys, I'm building the presentation as I'm going. So at the end you just then work on making your presentation look good, but as you are discovering your data, you're also at the same time building your presentation. So by the time you're done answering all the questions, you'll probably have like 10 slides, and then you're also shocked that you have 10 slides, rather than just sitting and trying to figure out what to do. So you have to keep moving. So we're trying to look for the frequency. We're going to pull the frequency, but we want to look at average. So let's take that out. And currently it's showing us the sum. Let's go in and say average. Okay. So that's 5. You don't have to actually paste this, so you could decide how you wanna, make it show up here. Maybe, I don't know what other designs there are. If there's, like smart art or whatever, like a number 5, or if you want, you could paste it as it is. But also think about how good it looks, your presentation, because you need to present to people. Or I like to use at times infographics. Let's see. You could even get like some online as well. Design it how you like. Let's just see. But yeah, guys, you must enjoy it, like when you design. So it's like just putting together stats and enjoyment.
The one thing that your subject has taught me is presentations, I must be honest.
Yeah.
And how to use graphs, and I'm even applying that to my work now.
Yeah, it's good because I mean, at work, especially if you're in like analytics and stuff, this here, like doing data, is all good. It's
Yeah.
it's data, but now to be able to elevate this data to tell a story, you then need to translate that into a story. Like you need to tell
Yeah.
people that don't know the data. So that's where now you also become the expert, where you are showing up and you're doing strategic. So your presentation can turn you from just an analyst in. So I'm showing you two sides. Analyst will just be in the detail. You run data and then you just do graphs. Then your manager comes and packages it in a way. But you can also now be the one that also packages it and
Yes,
tell a story.
so I need to do a lot of reporting in my work. So I need to
Mm,
report back on sales and stuff. So I've recently, instead of, because normally we report back using an Excel sheet,
yeah.
and then we just read numbers. But
Yeah.
now what
No.
I've done with the help of the subject, I've implemented the numbers into like graphs and Excel and
Mm.
PowerPoint. So now I'm using presentations to report back instead of Excel.
I'm sure people are even like people that are not analytical, like
Yeah, the buying
top
team.
managers won't be able to, easily. Some people just want to see what's the answer
Yeah,
or like tell me.
so the buying team loves it now
Hmm.
because it's
Oh,
easy for them to understand.
that's good. That's good. Uh, average uh, frequency per week. It's not days, times. 5 times a week. Uh, okay, and then cool. Okay, we'll just skip that and then just to what's the next one? It would say satisfaction levels. What is the overall average satisfaction level of the respondents regarding Facebook app or whatever the app is? Overall satisfaction levels. So here I want to do a different one because let's just use like okay. Put on a question here. Okay, so we want to look at the overall, the average. Okay. Let me use another pivot. Satisfaction. It doesn't seem like there's anyone who has a 1 or 2. So if you know, so you could either translate it from here into like the word. So after you have your, I'll show you now. Just trying to think. So it's when I have a look at the average. Maybe let's say maybe count, and then from count, yeah, let's then change the count into distributions. Yeah, I think that's a better way for research and surveys. Yeah, so let's rather say count. Yeah, count is a better. And then but then when it says, so we know this is very satisfied and satisfied, average in this way it's the most, like who got the most. So we would know this 2 is, we said,
Not satisfied.
satisfied. Yeah, neutral. Very satisfied. Then if you wanna maybe translate this into a chart here, you can. Or you could do it straight on, maybe let's, different one. Or you can also do it on PowerPoint as well. Okay, you can design it the way that you want, but also very important to add your data labels you want to see, so that you are also able to call out what's going on. Instead of the picture. So satisfied, people that are satisfied, it's both people that are satisfied and very satisfied. So if here we wanted to talk about satisfaction level, which is satisfied and very satisfied. So you just need to add these two together to say, so it would be 46%. So here we say 46. For your users, indicated that they were satisfied with the app. Okay, and then so there's different ways that you can design it. So remember here, but you'll see on the assignment you'll be guided, but whenever you do like presentations like these, it's fine to have slides with all the highlights, but then what does this mean? So it's always important to also have a summary or like conclusion, summary of findings. So in summary of findings, that's where you can wrap it up and have your so what and say, you know, like what's going on. Usually, so also this would also help. So once you have all of these, like your highlights on each page, you could then also use that. Say, the and you also take this, yeah, and that. You see, guys, like this, you already you already been doing it, but you're already almost at the end of your, you know, exercise. But from doing your data, you moved rather than waiting and trying to do all the questions, and so you try and answer each question as you go, but at the same time you're building your presentation as well, and you know you're moving the usage, and then now we need this one. Okay, and then okay, we already spoke about gender. It's fine. Let's see with gender finds the app easier to use. I think this is an interesting one. Okay, let's maybe just have a look at this one as well. Maybe let's just not include the word on average because okay. Now we must then cross-tabulate gender with app ease of use. Cool. We take gender. Then we take app ease of use. No. Down here. Something. No, gender as a column. Yeah. Cool. And then we take ease of use data. And here what we wanna do. Let's see. Okay. Then, so I hope you're following, guys. Trying to have gender as a column and then have the ratings here. Then now we need to see the distribution. So it's not grand total, but let's see if we column. Yeah, it's column. So it's 100% for females, males. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just gonna borrow those from there. Then we just do the same here. Necessary recommended chart. You can either use this one, which will show you. So the question was, which gender group finds the app easier to use? So this would be nice, yeah, because we're seeing the ratings and gender as well. So on this one, yeah, but this one is stacked, it doesn't go up to 100%. So you want to look at something that goes up to 100% so that you see the distribution. This one also is a good one, but then, yeah, you'll have to just see, okay, males are high there and females are high. So there's more maths that you need to do here. Then here it's quite clear that males are dominant there, females there, but you can see also just the size of that graph on the bar. Let's see. The ease of use by gender. And let's put in our labels, make them visible. Can clean it out a bit. Okay, we go back to our presentation. Just showing you guys tricks. Okay, it won't be the same size, but similar. Then we can then see which gender group finds the app easier to use. So we can do a bit of maths either on our, I'd say, let's do it on our sheet just to see which gender finds the app easier to use. So what we're going to do, we're going to combine the two satisfactions and then by female and male. Just say overall. And what we're going to do, we're going to say equals this plus that. 70%. So males find the app easier to use. So these numbers then you can then quote here on your presentation and say male users find the use. You can also say here 20%, whereas only 43 cool, and then you can take that and put it. So guys, depending on your, so I'm just going to act like now we've done all the questions and designed it, and depending on the ultimate objective of, you know, these were just like questions. So there would be like an ultimate objective that's related to this. Maybe let's say the ultimate objective, see it says, say business objective. So based on these questions, I would say here the business objective was around did users find the app where to determine to determine satisfaction levels of the app. So from here we just want to see, so we did the overall satisfaction. So overall 46% of the users, so as we can see, so those that were not satisfied, it was around 24%, neutral 30%. So these guys are not either satisfied nor not satisfied, so they are taking out of the equation. So majority were then satisfied because 46% is more than the 24% that was not satisfied. So it seems like overall customers were, or the users were satisfied. We can say here overall users or are satisfied with the app. Then we can then pull in more. Okay, everything is here. Then we can say, okay, we can have a look at what else can we. So it's female. but then we know majority that found the app easier to use was males. So it seems like males drove the satisfaction levels. Okay. What else can we see? This is just nice to know, like the respondent ages, and I mean, you can also say the young adult group or mid-adult group. But for now, we're just going to focus on, so we said males drove the satisfaction with ease of use being the driver for satisfaction. So as you can see here, so I've used the summary of findings to then kind of like put the line of so what for the business. Therefore, if it's Facebook. So you could either recommend them customize or like focusing more understanding on why females are not satisfied as much as males are. But in this sense, we were looking at, or we were checking if are we satisfied, and we know we are satisfied. So the males are the most satisfied. So Facebook should either continue to develop apps that cater for their users' preferences and also to understand. If I can make this. Cool. So this is, like answering the objective. So objective was, are users satisfied? And that's objective answered. And then you then as the researcher or analyst would then have to say, what next? So what? So you've told me all of this in your study and your results, giving me the answer. So me as the business owner or head of Facebook, what should I do about this result? So it's not just about giving someone a spreadsheet and saying bye. So you need to then say, what must I do with this data that you've given me? What kind of decision should I take? So basically, yeah, guys, that's the ultimate. So whatever you, either a survey or your analytics, looking into sales, whatever, it's always about taking the data and telling the story, and then recommending, or as an expert then saying, what do you think about the data and what should the business do about it? So yeah,